let's talk about your ministry. Okay, we'll talk about what you're doing there. If you could, in a nutshell, like what are you doing for programming, like Bible studies, small group time, or youth group time, or outreach? Like if you kind of summarize it in like a minute. I know it's gonna be hard, but just for the sake of the tape too. Like what's going on? Like if you give me kind of a weekly schedule on what you found to work really well.
The weekly schedule mostly is I consider it a simple type of a youth ministry at this point. We've gone through having a lot of older kids, a lot of younger kids. Right now the program is pretty much preparing for Wednesday nights, building relationships with some actually mostly younger teenagers from about 12 years to probably 15, 16 years. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's a different perspective than what I've dealt with in years past, but it's the simple thing. It's Wednesday night, Youth of Light. We invite kids, mostly unchurched kids now at the point we are, out of probably 25 to 30 kids on a Wednesday night, 17 of them or more are usually unchurched kids from around the community. So it's more of the teenagers being involved in the outreach, inviting their friends from their school, and inviting their friends from around the area. The programming, mostly the teaching aspect of it, it ranges from a lot of different things. Some of the different youth ministry books that I'm reading at one point or time. I like to use a lot of object lessons. And what's really kind of cool, Mount Moriah Youth of Light, we've had a volunteer within the church who sees it just as importantly for our area. Because of busy work schedules of parents, we not only feed them spiritually on Wednesday nights, but we have a time designated and people coming in and volunteering their time and money, efforts to feeding them physically in one way or another as well.
So you have a dinner deal too going on.
It's not always a official dinner, but there's usually nachos and cheese. There's usually hot dogs.
So it's healthy food.
Yeah, of course, healthy food. But we do cut back on the pop. We use a lot of iced tea and juices, more probably because of the money aspect than whether it's healthy or not. Right. But it's kind of cool. It was just one person in our church. His wife was actually teaching for our junior BYF, and she noticed that kids were coming in and they're always saying that they were hungry. So she started by just bringing little snacks in, and then her husband said, "Well, why don't we just start really kind of providing something a little bit more substantial?" And so that's been a ministry that has developed from that.
That's cool.
Occasionally we've got a decent facility there, and when it's right, we offer sometimes tutoring. We use some of our older teens to come in and tutor younger kids if the need is there. Just a place, from year to year, we've done what we call a teen hangout occasionally. When we really see a need, we open up the church 2 hours, 2 times a week. We haven't done that this year, but it's been something that we've tried to do. Occasionally gets kids in there to a point where, like I said, we can build relationships with them and then show them Christ.
Good. That's awesome. I love the idea of, the whole idea of discipleship outreach. You've got this many, 13 or 14, and then you got a lot more unchurched. That's good. I mean, and it keeps your own kids, I want to say own kids, you know what I mean? Keeps them on their toes, living their faith, which is fantastic.
And you have to encourage them to be accountable, because these, you notice and you want them to see that there are kids in your school that are watching you. And they're paying close attention to how you're living your life, professing to be a Christian. So,
well, let me give you this next question. What has been your biggest challenge there, and what's been your biggest joy? All right, see if you can come up with that one.
This is going to be a quick answer. My biggest challenge is always my middle school age kids. They always have more energy than I do. In trying to reach them or actually teach them, it's always a challenge, because their lives are the ones that are going through the biggest and most drastic changes, not only physically but emotionally, and they're the ones that really seem to be searching. They need to find a place where they fit in, because they don't fit in anywhere else a lot of times, and they're struggling with who they are becoming, who their parents expect them to be, and really within their community, within their education. That's when people start saying, well, you really need to start thinking about what you're going to do, and that's a lot of stress for that age group. So I find it challenging not to find biblical truths for their lives,
Yeah.
but to find ways that we can apply that to a way that feels realistic.
I understand. Okay.
The biggest joy in my ministry and in the ministry, the opportunities that God's given me, is when you see the college student. You've had someone since they were 13, 14
Right.
years old. Being there 13 years, I get to see an entire life cycle almost to a degree.
That's cool.
Someone's encouraged to follow Christ. They find out who Christ is, who He is in their life. They go through college being able to experience freedom in their lives, and they realize that the true freedom's in Christ. So not only is it something that they've learned all their life, it's something that they're able to live. And you see some of your college students being a counselor at Camp Carmel. You see some of your kids applying for big positions in Campus Crusade within their college community. And you realize that not only did they get it, but they see the necessity of Christ and how that could be a big thing in their life.
That's great. Thanks. Last question.
Okay.
Do you want to answer this one?
Well, that always depends. That's an open-ended question.
This is about reunion.
Yeah.
Now I know you haven't been there yet, but is this something that you're thinking about trying to do this year, or what's the story?
Yeah, absolutely. Thinking of doing. It's because of your encouragement. It's because of how excited you are. That's going to be the reason why we try it the first time. The testimonies about it that you see in the videos that I've seen, and some other people that have been involved in reunion. Right. So, you've pressured me. You broke my arms.
Yeah, all right.
I'm gonna attend reunion, but it's something that's going to be more than that. I think it's going to create a community to where. And it's what youth group used to be for me when I was a kid, to find out that there are other youth groups, there are other teenagers that are trying to experience the same things I am, struggling with the same things I am. And I want my teenagers to experience that in a way that I did when I was younger.
Good. See, that was easy, right? We're done. All right. Folks, thanks so much, and we will see you next time.